Jason Risley with the American Dream here, and I'm with my wife, Christy Risley, and we're going to be interviewing Rakesh and Ami Puvvada. They've been successful real estate investors over the last decade, and for the last decade, they've been learning a lot of different things that's worked and not worked in real estate investments, and we're going to take a boat ride with them and talk to them about what's worked and what hasn't worked. Let's go talk to Ami and Rakesh.
Let's go.
So Rakesh, tell me what got you into real estate.
You know, it's about 10 years ago today that you helped us buy our first investment townhouse. And I think the main reason at that time was that we had our money in stocks, in 401ks, and mutual funds. We both are working professionals, but we wanted something more tangible. And real estate, you can see, you can feel, it's there. And in markets like Orange County and LA, the asset value is pretty tight, right? It'll stay forever. If anything, it'll only appreciate. And then the rents kept going up. And so we just saw that it was a good way to diversify. And you know, since then, we've had many purchases, and it's just completely changed our lifestyle.
Ami, I'd love to hear, what do you think about when you walk through a property?
Christy, that's a great question. You know, when I walk through our projects, the first thing that I think about is, can my family live here? And not really from a neighborhood standpoint, but more from the home and how my family can maximize the space. So for example, you know, I've walked in on projects where I see this big, huge grand island, and I was joking with my husband where I literally feel like I have to like scream across the counter in order to talk to him, or that I could literally play, you know, Frisbee with him. And while it looks beautiful and grand, it's not really feasible or functional on a day-to-day basis. So we think about, how can we create an island where it's still big enough where people can, you know, gather around, have meaningful conversations, pass food around, etc.
I also know you've had a lot of great deals that have gone down. Tell me, do you have a favorite? Can you shed some light on that? Yeah.
You know, I think about this. I was thinking about what Ami was saying about design, and it hit me that my favorite deal is not necessarily the one with the best metrics. Like, you know, of course this deal had a 60% return annualized, 90 days close of close. This is a deal that you were actually the buying agent and the listing agent on and helped us with. But the reason this was the favorite deal for me is that it proved our investment thesis. In middle of construction, while we're going through the whole process, the neighbor decides to sell their house. And it's 20% bigger. And they want the asking price that we wanted it. And so many buyers look at price per square foot. So that just mathematically puts our house at 20% lower than this one if you're just doing an apples to apples comparison. But we stuck to our plan, we stuck to the design principles, we stuck to the layout changes. We had a design principle and we had an idea. And what ended up happening, we sold our house faster than they did, over asking. They sold less than us and 30, 40 days after us. So it really proved our investment thesis, and that's why it's my favorite deal.
And then as far as for you as an investor, what sort of design trends do you see looking forward?
You know, right now I see a lot of developers looking at adding value to the home. So they're adding either apartments, you know, to a detached garage, or they're adding a granny flat on top. And what that does is, you know, as affordability is becoming an issue, year over year home prices are increasing. If you're a new homeowner, it gives you the ability to still be able to afford the home and rent out those units, which can help offset your mortgage.
Absolutely.
Rakesh, so what advice would you give to maybe a real estate investor that's maybe just starting? They're not at your spot now because you've obviously done it for a while. What advice would you provide?
In our own neighborhood in Irvine, we live in a master plan community. There's beautiful townhouses and condos that the association picks up all the expenses of the exterior, the roof, the gardening. They're easy investment properties to start in your own neighborhood. Buy something that you put 25% down, the rent covers your fixed expenses, and over time, rents do go up. Start with a very simple townhouse or condo, get your feet wet, and then expand every few months or every year, add another investment property.
I love it, and as we kind of hinted at there, long-term rents in Southern California have averaged 4.7%. Real estate has averaged 7.3%, and quite frankly, you're making well on both of those, right?
Exactly.
The rent and the appreciation, both are working in tandem.
Well, Ami, thank you so much for your insight and just all the wisdom you had to share for all of us.
Check us out on the next segment of The American Dream, and we are out. Thank you so much for joining us.